Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Thursday, 13th of July 2023. This day is celebrated as National French Fry Day. It is observed on 13 July to recognize staple food in menus across the country. The day is generated to celebrate the amazing food dish. 13 July in Indian history is celebrated, observed, and remembered for various reasons. It is actually the birth anniversary of Bena Rai, Sunita Jain, and Sunita Jain. 13 July is observed as the death anniversary of the Ashpurna Devi. Starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that a big ticket defense deal is likely during Prime Minister Modi's Paris visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron have maintained close contact since they first met in June 2017. The Hindu newspaper also states that China pitched 4 tents in buffer zone in Ladakh, says councillor. Konchok Stanzin, a councillor from Chushul in Ladakh. The Hindu newspaper also states that NABARD is the spine of rural India. Amit Shah says. Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah addresses during the 42nd Foundation Day of National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, that is NABARD, at a Pragati Maidan in New Delhi on Wednesday. Cooperation Minister Amit Shah on Wednesday asked NABARD to fix targets to finance the agricultural sector and rural development for the next 25 years. When the India will complete 100 years of the independence, he said NABARD is the spine of rural India. The Hindu newspaper also states that Thailand diplomat meets with the Suu Kyi in detention in Myanmar and says she wants to join talks on crisis. Thailand's Foreign Minister Don Pramudwinai said on July 12, 2023 that he met outside Myanmar the leader Aung San Suu Kyi in detention over the weekend, and she conveyed her openness to engage in talks to resolve crisis in her strife-torn nation. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that new benchmarks for strategic ties foreign sky on Prime Minister Modi's France visit. Addressing the media ahead of the visit, Kavtara spoke about increasing defense cooperation between the militaries of the two countries. In terms of the joint exercise as well as the cooperation in logistics, sport and maritime security in the Indian Ocean region and the Indo-Pacific research and design in the defense sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi 2-day visit to France starting on July 13 would be the both rich in the form and substance and would set new benchmarks for the strategic partnership between the two countries in the future. Indian Air Force and a French Air Force rifle practice over Paris ahead of Bastille Day celebrations to be attended by the Modi. Indian Express also states that Pratap Banu Mehta writes the unbearable lightning of Milan Kundra 1929 to 2023. The voice of both the great and barbaric threat to freedom as well as the void that freedom creates. Milan Kundra was a political novelist in the deepest sense of the term. A few weeks ago, I happened to be browsing through Milan Kundra's last book, A Kidnapped West, the Tragedy of the Central Europe, published this year. In a way, this is a fitting last book for him to publish. Kundra is at one level a writer for our moment because he speaks at two levels. His original fame rested on diagnosing the totalitarian state as a form of illness that puts the very possibility of human meaning at risk, that erases all senses of the self. Indian Express also states that the Gujarat water level rises in dams due to rain. Until the July 12, the 207 major dams, including the Sardar Sarovar in Narmada, have a collective reserve of 48.74% of the total capacity of 25,265 MCM as against 39.55% on June 2023. The Sardar Sarovar Dam, with an inflow of 34,000 cubic from Madhya Pradesh, stood at 123.8 meter on Wednesday, with a sharp rise in the live storage of dam reservoir from 19.09% on June 23 to the 32.5% on July 12. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that SDG 20 agenda adaptation measures key to robust climate response. An aerial view of the coal-fired power station in Lanzhou in northwestern China's Gansu province in November 12, 2021. China plans to boost coal production through 2025 to avoid a repeat of last year's power shortage, an official said on Monday, October 17, 2022, adding to setbacks in efforts to cut climate-changing carbon emissions from the biggest global sources. India's G20 presidency comes before the global stock take at Conference of Party 28 and at the midpoint of the achieving the goals laid out in the 2030 agenda for the sustainable development. India's G20 leadership will be based on the 5 pillars of the Green Development Pact: lifestyle of environment, circular economy, climate finance, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals, and energy transition and energy security. All these pillars are needed to strengthen action toward the energy transitions, but to have a full-fledged climate response, more action is required. Hindustan Times also states that United Nations urges Russia's Putin to extend a Black Sea grain deal. A report. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has proposed to Russia President Vladimir Putin that he extend a deal allowing the safe Black Sea export of grain from Ukraine in return for the connecting as a subsidiary of Russia's agricultural bank to the SWIFT international payment system, sources told returners. SWIFT Bank is actually the Society of the Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, legally SWIFT. is a Belgian cooperative society providing services related to the execution of the financial transaction and payment between the certain banks worldwide. Its principal function is to serve as the main messaging network through which international payments are initiated. It also sells software and services to financial institutions, mostly for use of its priority SwiftNet, and assigns ISO 9362 business identifier codes, BICs, popularly known as SWIFT codes. Hindustan Times also states that Prime Minister Modi's France visit to focus on defense space sectors once again. France will be the first step on two-nation tour this week by Prime Minister Modi, who will be the guest of honor at the annual Bastille Day parade and hold talks with the President Emmanuel Macron to take forward cooperation in key areas ranging from defense to space. Going towards the economy of the country, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal in London discusses adding a further momentum to India-United Kingdom trade talks. Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal with the United Kingdom counterpart Business and Trade Secretary Kemi Badenoch in London. June inflation quickens to 4.8% as food price climbs. Vegetable on sale at Azadpur Mandi in New Delhi on July 12. Gambia unveils a prescient testing for Indian Parma. At least 66 children had died in 2022 after consuming cough syrup manufactured by Indian firm. Production rises 5.2%, led by infrastructure and construction goods, even as 12 of 23 manufacturing sectors report construction. Infrastructure and construction goods output continued to drive up the index industrial production, WIP rising 14% in May. Going towards the world news, including Iran summons Russian ambassador over commenters on a Persian Gulf territorial dispute in a rare spat. Turkey's parliament vote ratifies Sudan's NATO membership bid before October, Erdogan says. Palestinian president visits Jenin refugee camp after devastating Israeli military raid. Raging conflict in Sudan displaces over 3.1 million people, United Nations says. European Union fines United States firm Illumina United States dollar $475 million United States dollar for jumping gun on a buyout of a cancer screening company Grail. Going towards the science and technology, India and United Kingdom to connect their space clusters. United Kingdom scientist says. United Kingdom Science Minister, sorry. The Milky Way is seen in the night sky around the telescope and camps of people or rocks in the white desert north of the Farafra Oasis southwest of Cairo. Macroeconomic challenge: huge depreciation of Indian rupee responsible for slowdown in mobile industry. Oppo CMO says macroeconomic challenge is a huge depreciation of Indian rupee responsible for slowdown in the mobile industry. Oppo CMO says. Damiat Singh Khanoria, Oppo chief. Unlikely savior, Elon Musk's antics give Mark Zuckerberg a PR makeover. File photo of Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg pictured on the left and Twitter owner Elon Musk. At last, there's a famous quotation said by Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, whose birth anniversary is 14 April 1891 up to 6 December 1956. Was an Indian jurist, economist, social reformer and a political leader who headed the committee of drafting of the Constitution of India from the Constituent Assembly debates, served as the largest law and justice minister in the first cabinet of the Jawaharlal Nehru, and inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement after renouncing Hinduism. Mr. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says a famous quotation. He says that we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. In politics, we will have equality, and in social and economic rights, we will have inequality. We must remove this contradiction, or else who suffer from this inequality will blow up the structure. Okay, thank you.